What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stirfry. It's your boy, Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
And our special guest today is Young Cap.
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Good,
I appreciate
man.
you guys having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. You know, it's a nice summer day. We got some beers. Cheers.
It's a hot summer day, man.
Yeah, hot summer day.
Oh, sweating.
If only shit was open.
Yeah, I know,
If only
right?
shit was like, well, at least normal.
I wish that we could get like restaurants to where it's not weird to go up in there. Like we went in a Mexican restaurant the other day, and they gave me like one menu. There's like two of us sitting down. I'm like,
great.
Why can't we have more than one menu? And I don't know if that's regulation or what, but I was just like, why the?
Yeah, dude.
Why do we have one menu?
I was just thinking that too. I was at a Mexican restaurant yesterday, and I was with my buddy, and I'm like, so they're not gonna have menus, but we could sit at a table. It's the same concept. They're gonna clean the table.
Dude.
They could just clean the menus.
Could just wipe the menu down. I could
Like,
see if
just
it's
like
just
the
a
table.
paper menu, like, okay, but then you just throw it away and print another one.
Yeah.
But when you got a laminated menu, wipe that thing down, get to the next person. Like,
Just like everything else.
weird.
Yeah, so going to you though, you're a rapper from Cleveland. How'd you get started in music? What's your whole
What's
story?
crazy is I was watching your guys' podcast today to see, like, what I might be asked. And, like, I had this whole thing plotted in my head for how I was going to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I'm going into it.
Yeah, I
So
wanna hear it.
I
Let's
started
go.
off 5th grade, rapping at the lunch table. I was, like, one of the only white kids in my class in 5th grade. And, like, they were, like, they just thought it was hilarious when I would rap. So, like, I would just do it.
Right.
And a couple of my friends would do it and shit too. So I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then fast forward to like 8th, 9th grade, one of my friends had like a little program on his computer, and we would just record on there just little like remixes, freestyles, just dumb stuff. Like, shout out, everybody starts on Audacity. Every
classic.
single
Audacity's
person,
classic.
everybody starts on Audacity. And if they haven't, then they're too young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these young dudes don't know about it.
Yeah, they're like
um,
recording on their phones or some shit.
So then I went to Lake Catholic, which was like a whole different like type thing from where I started in school and stuff. Like, I went from being the only white kid in my school to being like, it's all white kids pretty much. So it was just like a whole weird dynamic. But one of my friend's older brothers, the kid that I said I'd been recording with in 8th and 9th grade, he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was telling all these seniors, like, hey, man, this kid can rap. Like, you should, like, listen to him freestyle. And, like, they would make me go in front of all the seniors at the lunch table and freestyle and stuff. And then sophomore year, shout out Magic, he, like, recorded some stuff. And I was like, man, I want to do this. I was like, I used to do this all the time, but I never, like, put nothing, like, on YouTube or anything.
Right.
So then we started recording, put some stuff on YouTube, and it was almost like a drug. Like, the second people, acknowledged that it was, like, dope, I was like, oh, my God, I got to do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So through high school, it was just, like, it was almost just for the thrill. And then when I got out of high school, I started doing shows, and I started making, like, making it a career path, something that like I wanted to, do for the rest of my life. And I decided like the last month of high school, like, yeah, I'm not going to college. Like, I'm going to do this. And
Yeah, do it full time.
I was like, I was supposed to go to Kent and stuff like that. And I was supposed to go to college. And I like had to tell my mom, like, hey, you're going to hate this one, but this is what I'm doing. And you know what? She knows, like, it's paid off. So
yeah, I mean,
not many people can say they've, got to, like, open for the people that I have or get some of the opportunity. And I honestly, like, I look at it now, like, if for some reason, like, it goes dry and I'm never able to, like, keep doing it anymore, at least I did what I did. And, like, I made it an experience. I had opportunity. It was fun. And it was, I met some people that I would have never met doing other things. So,
yeah.
can't be mad.
Do you think, like, you being young and performing in front of the seniors in high school kind of helped with develop like your stage presence that you have today?
I was born for that. I
exposing
swear
you-
to God,
oh,
it was
shit,
like one of
okay.
those things that like I could jump when I was a kid. So my mom used to work at a bar. When I was a kid, I was like 4 years old, and I would just get up on the bar and I would like just sing like rock and roll songs. I'd hit the jukebox and just go up on the bar in front of all these random old dudes and just be singing up there. did a talent show in 5th grade, did like the John Cena rap while my buddy did like his own little song or whatever. And so it was just one of those things that like it never was a thing to like be able to perform. It was like one of those things where like I got up there and I actually felt more comfortable than like not being up there. So that's like performing is like a lot, like I know some artists that like
that's a worst fear sometimes.
That can freestyle, that like we'll go head to head on freestyle and we'll go head to head on right and we'll both make bangers back and forth. But like, bro, like and this is like not toot my own horn, like not saying no, like, I'm not fooling myself in any way, but like I'll take myself over anybody when it comes to like performing and like triggering like a crowd and like, getting the interaction of people. So.
Well, yeah, see, like if you start out performing and that's your natural ability, you'll go like start out and like with a buzz.
Yeah.
Because anybody can make like a hit song and like have some traction. Yeah. But that performance, that crowd interaction is what really matters. Like
it's when they see you, Like
that's when you build fans. Really,
they take something home from it, and they remember that, and they're like, man, like I don't know. That's just to me. Like I grew up watching like I used to listen to a lot of like the band Kiss, and I thought that just their whole stage presence with like the makeup and the fire and the blood spitting and all that. So I just think that type of stuff was just so cool. And like when I was a kid, a lot of kids I know would stay up and be like, Mom, let me stay up and watch this show. Let me do this. If it was like the VMAs or like something like that, like BET Awards, VMAs,
I definitely remember those
anything
days.
like that, like I would be like, I'm not going to bed until it's over. I'm not going to bed. So I'd be like 6 years old and I'd be like, dude, I don't care what you say. Like I'm not going to bed.
I'm watching this shit.
I remember like Eminem coming out and just doing where there's like a bunch of Slim Shadys and stuff and they all walk from outside.
Dude.
Yeah, that's
right, and I think that's what hip hop's missing is it's those breakthrough performers. You got Travis Scott who's just fire at performing. He goes all out. He takes that rock star mentality, makes a whole set.
He's definitely. I haven't yet to see him live, but I've watched videos and I just know that he's.
Yeah,
dope.
it's on my list too. I haven't actually seen him.
Yeah, but you just from what you hear and what you see on shit, you can learn anything on the internet nowadays.
Yeah,
gain insight or whatever. So.
But yeah, that's what takes you to the next level. So every day you wake up, this is your career. This is what you're pursuing. What motivates you to do it every morning?
So I kind of went through different stages of what motivated me. Like early on, it was people telling me I couldn't. And now I'm at the point where people have told me I couldn't for so long that's not even that don't even motivate me anymore. That's not even it hasn't affected me to this point, so I don't know why it would affect me anymore. You know what I mean? So nowadays, it's almost just like the amount of hours that I've put in already, that motivates me. Like, there's no going back on that. Like, I could have, I missed out on a college experience. I missed out on a million job opportunities. I missed out on relationships, friendships, time spent with certain people in my life that just like, I'm not getting that back because I put that into this. I put all that time, I put all that work into getting me to where I'm at now, and the job's not done. So it's like, that's motivation in itself. Like, dude, you can't. It's almost like if you put in all this time in college and then you just had one semester left and you dropped out, you're like, why would I do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
all that work would be for nothing.
So it's like, I made it this far. It inspires me to keep going. And then what also inspires me is just like, I got family whose lives I want to change. I got friends whose lives I want to change. I got family and friends and fans and supporters that have, put countless dollars and time and stuff into supporting what I do. And like, if I were to just be like, I'm done with it, that's a waste of their time too.
Yeah.
And that's not right. Like, that'd be terrible to let them down. Like, there's been times where like, I'm very doubtful of myself. It's not that I'm doubtful of myself, but I like beat myself up and I'll be like, man, like I would rather do something else in my life today. Like I'll get real like down on the craft and think like it's like, I'll just have one of those days. And then I'll tell myself like, dude, I don't care what you feel. You know what it is. Like, lock back in. And sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes a week. Like, I've had it take a month or two at certain times where it was just like, wait, am I too far? Is this gonna?
I know you're cool, man. You do whatever you do. It'll work out.
I would think you would have to get like inspired by just all of these come ups. I mean, every time you look 16-year-old or you see something like one dude just got like a year in the rap game, and you kind of like started in a different era where all of this stuff wasn't available.
It's crazy because I was like 16. I'm 24 now. So I've been in this for almost a decade now, which, you know, I told myself I'd stop doing it if it stopped progressing. And even if it's slowly but surely, it progresses. But you see these people that you know that you can outdo, you know, and that's no disrespect to them because they did what they had to do.
Yeah.
But you kind of you realize, like, man, like, I just got to keep going. Like, you know, there's that one interview or whatever with Nipsey Hussle where he was like, the only thing that separated me from these other people was, like, I never stopped. He was like, I never quit. I never stopped. I never, you know, he's like, there's a million times where I wanted to. He's like, but you just can't, you know, like, there's, like I said, man, as long as there's one person that believes in me enough to do this, it's like, I can't let them down. It's just not an option.
My whole thing is, I see it all the time. These rappers, they want to be professional rappers for their career, but they never know how to go all in. To me, and like seeing you progress because you decided, hey, this is what I'm going to do. There is no second plan. This is what I'm going to pursue, and that's it.
To any rapper out there, any aspiring artist, anybody that wants to do it, you're selling yourself short if you're not 100% invested, if you're not all in on it. If you're not, like, you got to be, like, my government name's Daniel, but my rap name is Young Cap, and I have to be a Young Cap 100% of the time. And when it's time to be Daniel around the family, this and that, it's almost like you still got to be Young Cap because that's just who you are, you know? Like, that, it's like, it's crazy. I watched this documentary this morning on The Undertaker from WWE, and he was like, dude, I didn't even do media for like 25 years because he's like, I just didn't want that to throw off people's like perception of the persona of the Undertaker. He's like, you can't just be in the ring like the dead man and then just come out and be like, hey, yeah, so blah,
for
blah,
lunch
you know what
I
I'm
had,
saying? It don't work. It don't work like that. And to me, like, the Undertaker, that's like one of my, like, you know, that's my dog when it comes to sports, entertainment, whatever you want to call it. Like, that is
he's
one
crazy
of them
entertainer.
dudes, man.
Like, that whole aura that was created. You haven't really seen nothing like that. Just dark, evil, tall dude coming out.
No, and how many evil, like, scary type people ever get the support of everybody? Like, everybody loved the Undertaker. Like, it's not like people hated the Undertaker. Like, people would be like you would see your favorite wrestler get scared of the Undertaker, and you'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like,
he kind of represented like a side of all of us. So
yeah, like,
you know,
a little dark side.
Yeah,
like,
you know, like the quiet, the weird side of all of us, and he did like always continue that brand. Like, he didn't do media. That's crazy. Like, he
never stopped and did movies like John Cena did and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, he's full-time Undertaker. So especially, like, you know, I woke up even after watching some of it today, I was like, dude, like, I gotta be full-time Cap, and I gotta really be like, it's almost like so it's weird because in hip-hop you need to unapologetically be yourself.
Yeah.
And not only is that the right thing, I believe, to do, not only is that authentic, but it sells. People love the real you. People want the real you. But at the same time, in entertainment and in, like, celebrity life, you almost have to carry like an aura and like a character to you, like you're a movie character or something. Like, like, if you look at, like, just like what 50 Cent meant to me when I was like a kid, like, he was in video games, he was in movies. Like, 50 Cent to me was like, bro, he got shot 9 times and lived. Like, to me, 50 Cent was like a walking like superhero of like hip hop. Like he just like couldn't be killed. He was just like so cool and shit. Like his music was dope, and like you just don't see much of that anymore in hip hop. But what you do see is you see these kind of like somewhat rock star like aura type guys, like guys like. That's one thing I will say about the new generation is like they're very good at like selling their character, because like,
well, it's largely based on image, you know.
Right,
So
it's just the image. Yep, Trippy Red and X and Juice World and all them dudes, like they were able to almost like sell a persona even more than the music at some point. Like and that's like, to me, that's huge for entertainment. I don't know how great it is for hip hop, but it's great for entertainment. So it just
right, which then sells records in hip hop,
and it sells records, right? And that's, you know, you could get into the whole like, oh, you're a sellout, blah blah blah. To each his own, man. Like you be the.
But I mean,
you be what you want to be.
Trippy Red was probably Trippy Red's whole, like he is who he is, you know. Mm-hmm. It's not like they took him and that's
why
look.
That's why these people. That's why you could get the perception of like a character, like a person in like a movie. It seems like, because it's like 90% of the world is all just alike. They're all normal, the same. Like you get categorized groups of like, you know, you got preps, you got jocks, you got whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you get like somebody that's just so authentic to who they are, people can't stop watching it. People just can't stop watching it. Like, and people just gravitate to it to the point where it's like, this is it's a phenomenon.
We talk about this all the time. It's authenticity really what sells long term. Like you will not have any artists, any type of musical artists that aren't being themselves. Like they'll get caught up. You know, everybody always gets exposed or something.
Something happens to everybody, man.
Yeah, everyone's who they is who they are, and they're authentic and they be their self, and and that's their image. They usually last for a while.
I think that was the whole like excitement of 50 Cent. Like it was, so a lot of these labels and stuff, you know, like they put together a story that just never happened, and then it was like, oh, like he got shot 9 times for real. Like this is for real. Like this is crazy. The whole he was really in New York doing all these things that he's talking about.
It's crazy.
Like, it's unbelievable.
That's why Gucci's been around for so long.
Yeah, it's so...
His work ethic, though, is nuts.
Gucci, oh yeah.
Dude stays in the studio, sleeps there.
Wayne. Look at Wayne.
Yeah.
Man. Wayne has one of the craziest stories. Like, and I love how on Carter 5, he talked about a lot of his, like, personal stuff, too. I really like that, because a lot of people will tell you the Carter 5, like, people that aren't real hip hop fans, they'll be like, "Oh man,
I think that
Carter
was pretty
5
solid.
Wasn't that good?" No, man. If you go back and you listen to the lyrics,
I think for Wayne, maybe just for me, I think Wayne is not even the real story that hits. I think Wayne creates like a world for you to be in. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think it's like, oh man, look at how Lil Wayne grew up. This story is so crazy. Mm-mm. I just think it's like, lyrically, I mean, you could say better than everybody, or he's up there with whoever you think is number one. He makes
you feel what you would probably expect him to be feeling as he rapped this shit.
Yeah.
Like, he just starts saying shit that, like, you could recite and be like, God damn, like, you just feel like the shit just saying. There's not many artists where, like, you really feel like the shit just saying their lyrics, and, like, Lil Wayne is one of them.
Yeah, because he comes out with these metaphors. You're like, how the fuck did you think of that, dude? Like...
And the fact that he doesn't write, that's just
that's just beyond me.
That's insane. Like he's not like he said, I'm not a human being. He's not a human. He's not human, man. I've watched so many videos of that man just going in the studio and just like, even like Drake is probably in my top 3, maybe number 1 favorite artists like of all time, and like this man Drake will come out and just straight up say like, man, like watching Wayne was like the reason for who I am today. Because it's just like, he was like, that man would just go in there and do stuff without writing that like nobody's ever seen. Yeah, it's wild.
But that's what makes talent. Like you look at Lil Wayne and you can tell me that that's not full talent.
Dude,
like,
that's God given.
Right.
But like, you know, he honed that craft. Like he kept going and going and going, and he kept. I mean, they said that dude would be in the studio for 16 hours a day, like just going. So like, you know, I'm sure that got easier for him with time as he just kept doing it and doing it. So yeah, the more you work at it, like I used to smoke a lot of weed, and when I did that, I was freestyling every day at all times, etc. Now I don't smoke anymore now, and like I don't freestyle as much just because, you know, when you're like blunt cruising or some shit, like you got you freestyle,
especially with
you know
your,
what I mean? You're spending more time with the bros when you're doing that. So it's like, so I was freestyling all the time, and I mean, I felt like I couldn't be touched. Like I was just going. Nowadays, like I gotta actually find like time myself, just to, even if I'm sitting by myself, to just freestyle and stuff. Because you don't want to, you know, you gotta sharpen all your swords, and you gotta sharpen all your swords. And if you don't, you know, you're gonna end up at that party, and there's gonna be someone there that's gonna freestyle, and that's gonna be harder than you, and you're gonna be like, and when you're like me, you hate that shit. You hate anybody showing you up, anybody. None of that, man. Like that. I'm telling you, bro. You can't let somebody one up you.
That one opportunity that you need to do to, like, you know, that one record label executives, like, oh, here, let me hear a freestyle. And you're like, oh, shit. Like,
and you just choke.
Yeah. But you got to be ready, yeah.
But the ones that don't choke are the ones that spend every day freestyling. You know what I mean?
They put in the work.
It's not about, you know, there's a lot of people that are God-given good at things, right?
Yeah.
But to become even like one of the greats at those things, they still got to work at it.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
if you're not working at it,
you could be talented, and someone that works harder than you is gonna come up with, like,
it's gonna shine. It's gonna outshine you. Yeah.
It's like that's how anything goes. You know, sport related.
Sure. I agree.
Artist related. You gotta put in the work. You gotta go all in. You have to commit 100%, and that's how you're gonna be the best. Like, I guarantee you, none of the greatest ever just is like, oh man, you know, I'll spend like a few hours a day, maybe a few hours a week, just like I'll do a few videos. For me, I'll do a few videos, and then what? Like, I'm not progressing as fast as someone who's doing videos every day, editing videos every day, making podcasts every single
I'll be
time
up at night in the stew, and I'll be like, bro, all right, I'm going to bed. And then, like, it'll click in the back of my head, like, there's a 16-year-old kid right now that's not going to bed, that's going to write 4 more songs tonight. And I'm like, holy shit, man, I got to get back. I got to keep going. And, you know, I do think there's a time for rest. I do think there's a time to, I think it sharpens your mind to get rest. I think it's smart to even have balance. I believe in balance so much, like, to where, like, I do think you should, you know, have a grip on your life, on your family relationships, on your mental health, on your physical health, on your well-being, all that. I believe you got to be balanced in that. But when there's time, and when it comes time to work on the craft, you got to just go. Yeah. You just got to keep going, and you got to make more time for it then. You know, you got to sacrifice stuff, but you can't give yourself up for it. You got to still be there, you know what I mean? Like, you got to stay grounded. So, I don't know.
So, like, all these different, like, long studio sessions, and you kind of got, like, a good track record in Cleveland with, like, a lot of these artists. I'm wondering, like, how did you, like, meet or get some of these songs with, like Ray Jr., for instance? Like, how did that happen?
That, honestly, I was a young, I almost say thirsty kid at that point. Cause I would say hungry. I was hungry, but, like, I probably could have handled that situation a little bit better.
Okay.
But I definitely just paid for that feature, and, like, I knew what it would do for me, and it, you know, it worked out. Like, I gained a lot of respect from people. I gained a lot of connections. I heard
it was in a lot of places.
A lot of people. Yeah, you know what I mean. It did a lot for me. So, like, I'd never be mad at a situation, but, like, I just think that, you know, I probably could have handled some things differently. I think I could have maybe waited till it happened more organically. You know what I mean? Like, just.
But you have to invest, you know. it was an investment, and it seems like it
You're
paid
right.
off, you know.
And this is like, shout out Ray Jr. He's a fucking OG in the city, and like I just, man's made movies, books, all that. Like he's a legend. But like there was a time when like 21 Savage was like just blowing up, and I could have invested that money into a 21 Savage feature when it was like, a lot cheaper for a 21 Savage feature.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
And I just kind of like, I jumped on the Ray Jr. thing, which, looking back on it, maybe it was the wrong decision, but at the end of the day, I'm grateful for where I'm at and all the shit that I've got to do. And it's part of what I've done, so I'm not tripping about it.
I would say it was a smart move because think about it in terms of locally. I feel like you're tackling locally, you want to tackle locally first. A lot of times, like, that's, like, the idea behind a lot of artists. You tackle locally first. He's a big name in Cleveland. It makes sense to buy that feature.
Oh, it makes sense.
Get your name out there. And then,
it was my decision, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the one that chose that anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody's going to watch this and be like, this dude's insane that he didn't just get the 21 Savage feature. But, like,
how are you to know, though?
Yeah, how was I supposed to know? So
he could have been a flop.
But I with the features, some dudes I organically made. A couple dudes
got you
paid for features, and then just some was just like because of someone else, like just put it together. So
networking, yeah.
Networking's huge, man. If you don't network, you're never gonna make it in anything you do. Like, and I try to tell artists out there, if you're a young artist, network. It is the number one thing you can do other than work at music. It is the number one thing you can do. You can make 1 million songs if you don't have not just initial people listening, but if you're not growing who's going to listen to it every day, you're wasting your own time. It's not, it'll never work out for you if you don't network.
And I think that has to do with people's stubbornness, especially when they're up-and-coming rappers. They may think that they're better than everyone. But you can have confidence and not be cocky. A lot of people are anxious too. Well, yeah, that too.
Like I got some good friends that make music, and it just seems like they're just too anxious to, or just maybe it's not anxious. Maybe it's just like they just don't see the importance in it. Yeah. Whether it's
let's be real though. I mean, it can be anxiety driven when you're nervous to go in a group of people.
I get bad anxiety for things, but I just know that networking is one of those things that I gotta. There's certain things to where, like, I won't put myself in the position to get anxiety from it, and then there's certain things to where I'll be like, I don't care what happens. If I get anxiety, this is something I have to overcome because this part of it, this aspect is more important than not doing it. Like, if I don't do it, I'm not benefiting myself.
I feel like a lot of people have a hard time, especially, like, right now in this era, I feel like a lot of people have a hard time seeing talent versus numbers. So you might tell somebody like, hey, I'm about to go meet up with so-and-so. I'm about to go to their podcast, or I'm about to feature with their song. And they might, normally just get like, I don't know, 80, 100 views or something, which is kind of like, that's kind of like on the lower end. But a lot of those people won't realize, like, why are you even going if they're only getting 100 views? And like, because they're actually talented.
Put it this way. If I dropped a song tomorrow and it got 5 plays, and the 5 plays that it got were from Kid Cudi, A$AP Rocky, Chief Keef, Jay-Z, and Drake, you could get 1 million plays, and I don't give a damn. Because as long as those 5 that listen to it were, like, important or influential or people that can make it eventually get more than those plays, dude, look you got people buying plays. You got people that, you don't know what's real nowadays. You have no clue what's real nowadays. And it's like, even if it is real, sometimes they're putting, even like streaming platforms and social media sites and stuff like that, they're putting it in front of people that are going to count as a view, but they might never look at you again. They might never listen to it again. Everything's got to be targeted. Everything's got to be tactical. Everything's got to be the right people at the right time for the right reasons. Like, and if you're not doing it that way, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it becomes a problem when we're all like number oriented, and so numbers are so important in order to you
do everything.
Gotta be able to gauge your own growth and stuff.
Right,
like
you
that.
need to grow.
100%.
You need to have numbers behind what you're doing, no matter what you do. Facts. but people choose it for the wrong reason or people fake it, you know? And that bullshit shows. Like, you can't even, if your goal is to, I want to just get a million subscribers, I'm going to be the fucking badass person. Well, then what? I'm not focusing on the quality of my content, right?
You're just focusing on a million.
I'm just focusing on getting that million. I'm doing whatever it takes to get that
whatever
million.
It takes. A lot of sellouts, and like I said, I don't care how you get money. If it's money, it's money. It's to each his own. Like, obviously, have some integrity when you do stuff, but it's just like, I know dudes that have put all this money into fake views and stuff. Yeah. And then when it comes time to do a show, you're losing money on a show. You're not even making money on a show. Like, right. And like, it's just, it's baffling. Like, I just lost words trying to explain. Like, it makes no sense to do it that way. Like, I get that, you know, perspective is everything too. Like, people will see it and they'll be like, oh, like, this dude's got all these views. They're not coming to your shows. You need fans. You need people that will stick around, and you need people that will physically take what you did and show other people. People that will repost. Like, don't get me wrong, I ain't rich yet. I don't got all the answers, but I can tell you one thing. I've witnessed numbers that lie. They say numbers don't lie. I've witnessed numbers lie. Yeah. And it's that simple. So that's
what I think you do a good job at, is really just growing organically. Like, I can look at your Instagram, and I know you don't have like 15K followers. Nope. But you don't need that, because you have an audience that does follow you because of your content, because of your music. Like, it's not, you don't need.
And even if those people, even if people on your Instagram aren't necessarily liking everything, right? They're still showing people behind the scenes. That's what's crazy, is like, and even having people that don't like you that follow you is good too, because like, somebody can hate you and they could go share it to like 10 people and be like, haha, look at this asshole. Best spread of news. But 5 people out of the 10 that they just showed are gonna be like, oh, I actually like this. And then a couple more are gonna be like, I didn't even know what this was. Now all of a sudden they know what it is. So if they go hate it, they go spread it. If they love it, they spread it. If it's just like doesn't matter to them, then it doesn't matter to them. But they still saw it. So now like the next time your name gets brought up to them, it's like, okay, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah. So it's just like,
well, I read. I can't remember where I read, but like, you really only need 1,000 true fans to really make a good living.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Think about that. I mean, that's definitely true.
Dude, you can make 100. You get everyone to buy like some clothing, and say you even sell like a physical merch, yeah,
streams. Album sales, live shows.
So if you focus on...
If you do it right, man.
Yeah. You got to focus on like your specific audience that fucks with you, and you got to hone in on that. And if you spend all your money buying fans, it's never going to work out. You might as well invest that in promotion or in your music or whatever you're making.
You're not lying.
Well, I think part of the problem is a lot of these artists, they buy streams, they buy the Instagram followers, the Twitter followers, and the idea is that a label is going to see it and then they're going to put them on. But the problem is, where I think is, they'll get the followers, they'll get the likes, and then they get an awkward opportunity where, like, let's say local dude down the street owns a bar and like, I'll give you $400 to come out, $300 or something. And they're like, damn, that's a lot of money. I got to come outside now. But that owner doesn't know nobody's going to show up.
Yeah, and then you show up there, yep.
But if somebody, listen, if I bought 1 million fake followers, somebody offered me $400 to perform, I'm going to show up.
And I'm going to show up. I'm going to take that. I'll perform for him.
Yeah.
And
I think thank y'all for coming.
I've had moments where like, I've taken shows that I knew like weren't in my best benefit because of the money. Like, it's like, I knew that like, okay, like I'm playing this show, you know, far as hell away on a Tuesday night. Everybody's got work. Yeah. And I'm opening I got some openers that I know aren't selling no tickets regardless, whatever. And I'm just like, look, he offered me bread, like, and I need the bread. Like, I'm a full-time artist. Like, I will take that bread. You get there and they're kind of like, oh yeah, like, I thought we were gonna have a better turnout, and I'm like, I didn't think we were gonna have a better turnout, but and not to be ignorant, but like. That's the business, man. Like, because there's been plenty of times where promoters have screwed me over. So like,
yeah, dude.
Sometimes you got to take what you can get at the same time. Like, so.
But I mean, as an artist that's full-time artist, you have to take those. What else would you do?
Yeah.
And eventually you'll have that full crowd.
Yeah. But I just think people got to get out of the concept of not coming outside. like I really think people have this huge concept of like, man, this is going to happen. I'm going to be indoors. I don't have to create no street campaign.
I'm going to sit in my room for the rest of my life and just drop, and then
the label
everybody's going to
way.
love it. Yeah.
Even what Will says, like, even street campaign, like, you have a show, if you post a flyer on your social media, you might have, like, some fans come, but... How much better would it be if you're texting people? You're calling text people
that
you're showing you're like with a group of people at a party, like, hey, come to my show.
I've
man.
never
like,
had.
You already know what's going down.
I've probably maybe out of the hundreds of shows I've done, I'm probably almost close to damn near 1,000 performances at this point with all the private and whatever type performances.
Yeah.
I probably had like 5 times my whole life where I could post a flyer and it just be like, it's going because. People don't give a damn about a flyer.
Right, yeah.
People want you. You got to get other people to post that flyer. You got to get that flyer in people's hands that actually want to be there.
Word of mouth. You have to have that word of mouth too.
Dude, if I could sell out like the House of Blues if I just messaged everybody. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like one of those things where it's like it's got to match up with the right day. It's got to match up with the right people, and it's got to be the right situation, man. Like, you put together a show with a bunch of people on it that everybody that's coming to see you, if they don't like every other opener, it's like I might like a UFC pay-per-view, but if all the fights on it suck except for one, I'm not buying it. Even if my favorite person's on the one fight, there's a chance I'm not buying it. At that point it's 50-50. But like third, fourth favorite fighter? Like, no, man. Like, right. Because you gotta, the whole situation's gotta make sense. If they had the UFC fight on a Wednesday night and then you work 7 a.m. the next morning, that fight don't start till 12, 1 o'clock, people aren't gonna come. That's how it works with shows.
Yeah, so let's peel that back. It all starts with these artists having strategies, knowing exactly how they want to do things, who's their audience. You know, how are we going to get to X, Y, Z, that destination where you want to be at? You have to have a strategy, you know, especially some people go in blindly, and, I mean, it oftentimes doesn't end up well.
You can't go in blind.
You have to have that strategy.
People got to learn, man. People got to learn. And I think that all comes with time and hours put into it, so. And
experience, you know. You have to be able to experience
100%.
Things, make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I got a million stories about that. That's for another time, man. Just mistakes have been made by anybody in the industry, and there's nobody that can. If they tell you different, they're lying.
Yeah,
they're lying. If they tell you I've never made a mistake, I've never messed up, they're lying.
It makes you. It makes you a better person at the end of the day.
Especially anybody that's good.
Yeah.
Anybody that's good didn't get there without struggling at some point. Like, that's part of the game.
Right.
So.
And you fear to go do something. You gotta hone that fear and make it. You know, you gotta take that risk. You gotta go out there and you gotta, you know, say you're doing your first show with over 500 people. That's scary as fuck. But you gotta go take that risk, and it's a reward every time. Especially once you beat fear, because fear is just a concept we make in our mind.
Once you overcome fear, you almost just want to do it again and again and again.
Right, because you want that same feeling of
overcoming.
Oh, overcoming fear is the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's the best, especially when it works out.
Yeah, when it doesn't, I don't know. It's kind of sucks.
I swung on a few rope swings in my life that I was too nervous and ended up cutting my hands open, busting my ass. That's the type of fear that sometimes you don't overcome.
Don't do some dumbass shit.
When it comes to your physical attributes, there's some fear that you just
leave it to jackass.
Sit back, leave it to jackass, leave it to athletes, leave it to whoever. But when it comes to literally overcoming a mental fear, something that I'm afraid to go to this party. I'm afraid to talk to this person. I know dudes that are afraid to talk to girls. Like, bro, once you overcome it,
Yeah.
it all works out. Things will happen for you that you're like, holy shit, I did not know this was possible. I didn't know I could get this girl. I didn't know people would like this song. I didn't know. You did know, because you wouldn't have sat there and thought, you wouldn't have been afraid if it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But you got to do it, though.
You have to do it.
That's the thing. You got to do it.
You have to put yourself in positions that may be uncomfortable, but you have to just go for it.
Got to go for it.
And so one thing I really do respect about you, like, hugely, is your fact that you openly told everyone you got anxiety, like, you know, you still have anxiety, you deal with it, like, with that, with all types of situations.
I be tweaking, bro.
Dude,
tripping, tweaking, whatever. It's crazy. I've been, knock on wood, I've been super great lately.
Yeah.
And I don't think, sometimes I have to stop and really be thankful for how good I feel sometimes, because I know how bad it can get. And sometimes I really just gotta, like, stop. Like, I remember, like, I went through a crazy, terrible couple months with anxiety a while back. And I just remember months after I overcame it, I just remembered I got out the car to start pumping gas. And while I'm pumping gas, I just look up at the sky and I'm like, I cannot believe that I'm just so nonchalantly chill today. Like, so just like, I don't even know what I had going on, but it was just like one of those things where it was like, thank God that I just feel good again, because like I was going through hell. And then when you overcome that, it's like, man, and you instead of living in a fear that it's going to come back, you got to just live. You just got to experience, and you got to live, and you got to, like, because I'm telling you, when you lock yourself in that box of it's going to get worse again, it's this could happen, this could happen. When you start thinking about all the bad shit can happen, dude. It spirals, and your mind tells you you're fucked. And bro, I've been telling myself for the last like year now, like, fuck it. Like, good things are gonna happen, and if they don't, then I'm just gonna put a middle finger up to whatever bad happened.
People need to really.
Simple as that.
Some people don't talk about mental health enough, and it's so important to make sure you're right in all aspects of it.
Need to speak up on it.
Yeah, and that's what I think is really great with you, like, doing your vlogs and talking about it, and everyone seeing that, because big people all the time go through shit just like normal people.
So you can't the one thing I will stress is, like, you can't be afraid to not only it makes you feel better to tell the world, it makes you feel better to tell the people around you, it makes you feel better to accept it and realize that it's something that you have to overcome, rather than it's something that's going to hold you down forever. It's possible to get past it. Sometimes you have to, if you have to go see a doctor, if you have to go see a therapist, if you have to tell your parents who maybe you didn't think that you could talk to about stuff like that, if you have to tell your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever your significant other may be, sometimes if you do that and you're open about it, it takes a weight off your shoulders. It takes a tightness out of your chest. It takes it kills the elephant in the room. It's like, I could be somewhere and I could be like, dude, I'm tripping. Like, I could be, and the more I sit there and don't tell nobody, it just starts going, and all of a sudden I'm like,
then you feel like you're different, you feel like you're in your own, like, little,
and finally I'll just be like, guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm tripping. And then, you laugh a little bit, because like, all right, these dudes probably think I'm fucked because I'm sitting here laughing about it, but at the same time, it's bothering me. Because, like, even when it's, like, as bad as it can possibly be, sometimes I'm laughing about it because I don't know how else to react to it. Right. I don't know how else to react except to just be like, God, why is this shit happening? Like, why am I so fried for this? But in reality, you're not fried. You're just another person going through another human, whether it be emotion, phase, whatever you want to call it. You're not the first one, you're not the last one, and you're not the only one. So it's like,
yeah, you're not alone in the situation. That's the main problem. I feel like people feel like they're alone and they're isolated.
And it's not something like, you didn't kill somebody. They're not gonna judge you. They're not gonna, like, you might get the occasional, like, oh, you're tweaking, or you're, like, oh, you got to be mentally stronger. People might not understand, but nobody's gonna crucify you for it. And if they do, they have a problem.
Yeah, then that's a real problem.
Yeah,
isn't it?
then they have a problem. No, so it doesn't make you any less of a man to admit that you like have a feeling inside of you. It doesn't. There's no, because I know like men and stuff are always like, oh, I gotta be tough. I gotta hold my feelings in. Blah blah blah. It's not tough to admit that you feel a certain way. It's almost like more corny to be like act like shit's fine when it's not.
Yeah.
If somebody did something to you that you didn't like, you're not just gonna hold it in and be like, I'm just gonna go talk to everybody else about it. I'm not gonna address the situation. Like that's not a manly trait. You know that. Like that's gossip. That's not a manly trait. Like by what manly standards are or whatever. Which I think that's bullshit too. But that's like I said, that's for another day. But like you can do and say whatever you feel about the way you feel, and you can voice it. And if somebody has a problem with that, they either don't understand, they don't need to understand, or fuck them. Like it's not.
So have you ever like maybe like helped or gave advice to any like kids or teens, like younger people going through like the same thing as you?
Yeah. So I've had plenty of opportunity to talk to fans. I get a lot of like fans that'll DM me and stuff and be like, hey, I go through a lot of the same stuff.
Are those usually like teenagers or like much younger, 8, 7?
I've had grown people in their 40s and 50s ask. Okay. I've had kids as young as 10 years old, 6 years old.
Variety of people.
Whatever, variety. All shapes, colors, sizes, don't matter. Everybody that, exists that can feel human emotion.
Right.
No matter what, they come in all ages. They come in all races. They come in all sexes. So I've had it all. I've talked to them all, and it's just like I wish more people reached out. I never have too much time to be like, yo, this is something you could do to maybe help. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna help. I'm not saying I'm the cure all to your problems, but like if you have a problem, it's better to reach out. And like if you don't think you could tell your parents, if you don't think you could tell your best friend, excuse me, the Heine got me burping over here.
Oh yeah, I held down a few.
Yeah, I held down a few, but that one came out my nose, so I had to let it be known. But for real though, all jokes aside, I'm here. I'm sure these two would be there for anybody that would reach out to them, and I'm sure that anybody you actually know that isn't a complete POS, they'll be there. And I think that's just something that needs to be said more. Yeah,
talk to people. Don't be afraid, because it's only gonna get worse if you don't reach out. And I think more people are willing to talk than people think, and more people are willing to like really be open minded, especially nowadays, to whatever anybody's got going on.
I want to say, it's amazing that you're doing all these things. Giving advice to people that need it, in the community with these teens, even people that's younger than them, that could be hard reaching out to people that's younger. And I seen, you pretty much were like helping with like a mini league baseball team.
Basketball, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, let's hear that. What is that about?
So I love basketball. If it were up to me, like my dream as a kid was like, dude, I want to be in the NBA, like, which is like every kid's dream is to play a sport professionally.
Right.
But, luckily I got my second best dream. I was lucky enough to be talented in it, which was music.
Right.
And I just found out that my brother, he's a couple years younger than me, he was playing in a rec league, and my buddy was coaching his team or whatever, and I was like, man, I want a team next year. And my brother was like, no, I'm playing for him again, like this was our team, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, bet. I'm going to put a team together and we're going to win this thing. And I put a team together. Shout out my Chino gang. Shout out Chino Hills, my young boys from all over Ohio for real, but put together a squad. We won the chip. I won the rec league coach of the year in this. It's called Lace Up League. My boys, Drew Casa and Vic Ferrante, they were in high school actually, and they started up like a rec league that like made money for charity and stuff. And it was a great league. good competition. It was crazy. It was like somewhere between like a CYO level competition, but like kind of like AAU too, because there was like really good kids and then there was like kids that weren't really good, but it was just like mixed together. It's like how you it's kind of how sports was growing up. You know what I mean? Like it's like, even though like everybody's got like that one kid on their team that was like good enough to where you're like, okay, he's gonna be a star in high school, he's gonna play college ball, this and that. Right. And then there's the kids that are like, yeah, I'm not going to play college ball. I'm not even going to play high school ball.
Yeah, I'm just here.
But I'm just here because I like playing.
Yeah.
And then there's kids that are like, yeah, I play high school ball, but like I know like I'm never going to another level. So it's all levels of, talent. And we won the league, and that to me was, don't get me wrong, we had a crazy talented team. It would have been a disappointment if we didn't win the league. But in order to get these dudes to mesh, because not like every other team in the league was full of kids that like knew each other and they put a team together themselves. My team was a bunch of dudes that like I reached out to and was like, yo, you want to come play? You want to come play? So I had 3 kids from here, 2 kids from here.
Okay, so it was their first time playing together.
So a bunch of these guys, it was their own first time playing together. And, we built camaraderie. We built relationships, friendships. Like I know if these dudes saw each other out, like, and these guys weren't friends before this league. Some of them didn't even know each other before this league. They saw each other out though. They'd dap each other up. They'd be happy to see each other.
You said the league was like Lace Up.
It's called Lace Up League. Yeah.
Okay.
So they got the money for charity and they like donated shoes to like kids and stuff without shoes or whatever.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from that experience? Really, like, what was the?
What I learned from that was leadership, because I had to take a bunch of. I think I was 21 and these dudes were all between like 14 and 18 or something like that.
Okay, so it's teen. I'm over here thinking they're like.
No, it's high 10? School. It's high school. It's high school.
High school.
So I had to get a bunch, and like I was like, you're talking high school kids. You're talking.
So that's
egos.
Even worse. That's hard. Yeah,
you're talking egos, like, and you're talking kids like I got to make sure these kids aren't like I coached a year after and we didn't win it because I had kids that skipped the championship game to go prom camping and stuff like that. You can't manage everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can only do what you could do, but. I mean, at the end of the day, like, that first year, it came down to having incredible talent and being able to get those dudes to believe in each other, to believe in me, and that to show that, like, I believed in them. Yeah. And it worked out. It was crazy. It was one of the best couple weeks of my life, man, because it was, like, I play a lot of 2K, and I do a lot of franchise, and that was, like, real life, like, managing a team, like, I always say, like, if music don't work out, I'm gonna try to become like some sort of GM or something in sports because like I feel like I can always bring people together.
I gotta know though, like, when did you think you was gonna win?
The chip?
Yeah.
Well, when I recruited like the craziest talent
so you
that the
already
league's
knew
ever seen, but I knew we got beat pretty bad by one of these teams in the league. And my team handled it so well. They were like, man, them dudes, they know if they played us ever again, they couldn't beat us, blah, blah, blah. They were like, blah, blah, blah. Like, we know we're going to win as long as we show up and as long as we play smart. And, like, I had to tell, like, dudes that, like I had some kids on the team to where if they wanted to shoot every shot, we still probably would have won, but maybe we wouldn't have. It just depends on the certain game, the matchup, this and that.
Right.
But some kids' egos and stuff, they can't determine like, oh, I shouldn't pull all these shots this game. And I had to tell certain dudes like, stop doing that. And it was weird because like they're not much younger than me. So I'm sitting here like, dude, stop taking these dumb shots. And it's weird to say that to somebody that like is literally like younger, these dudes are bigger than me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like,
you're like, hey,
they're better at basketball than me, so they could look at me. They easily could have looked at me at any point and been like, bro, what do you know? You never played high school, none of that. Like, what do you know? Yeah. But they trusted me and we got it done. And
that's what's so fun.
So then a year after that, I actually coached a 6th grade CYO team. Now, shout out all my young boys from St. Robert Williams. They just graduated. They're going to high school this year. But I coached them when they were in 6th grade, and they weren't a good team. Like, they didn't give us any talent. It was the B team. None of the parents could coach. And I was like, I'll do it. Because I had so much fun coaching the older kids. But, I mean, this was a commitment. I had to go, I had to talk to parents. I had to go to CYO meetings.
I had
to do the real deal. Like, I had to dress appropriately. I had to show up to games and be like, I had to talk to little kids, and I had to try to make little kids become better people forget the basketball stuff. I'm in there trying to make these little kids like men. You know what I mean? Because that's what all my coaches ever did for me.
That's the whole point of like little
So
league
I'm in there and I'm
sports.
trying to tell these kids like, look, man, like I know a lot of these kids didn't want to even be on the team. They played because their parents wanted them to play sports. Some of them wanted to play so bad, but they weren't very good. So it was just like, I need to somehow give these kids all confidence to do this. That was one of the craziest challenges of my life because I was 21, 22 years old, managing, like, took these kids' like hopes in my hands. Now, we won one game. But I had those kids' parents coming up to me for 2 years after that. Anytime I saw them, telling me they want you back as a coach. You know what I mean? Like they loved it. They said you're awesome. Blah blah blah. And that's something that means more to me than winning a championship ever could have. Because like these kids, I would think that they had more fun with me coaching that 1 year than they ever had any other year.
That's a pure example of leadership, right?
And that's all. Like I think that was all I could do at that point, you know, like was just try to show them like this is what it is. So
yeah, getting people though, you got the kids, you know, whether you win or lose, you still like had that leadership ability and they respected you and they still wanted you to coach them even after the game, like the season. You had like what, one win? You said.
Yeah, one win.
Yeah. So do you
tough season.
Do you think that leadership kind of helped you with your group 4264 and just your music overall?
Yes, but it's sometimes tough because when you've been around the same group of people for so long and they know you like through and through, like they know you outside of music, they know you outside of this and that. Sometimes it's harder to lead them because especially when they're your peers, some of them are older than you, some of them make more money than you, some of them, you know, have their own lives going on, their own schedules, this and that. It's, you know, it's hard to lead a group of men that all believe that they're leaders.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I think that, you know, they're all capable of doing their own thing and being who they are, and they've all showed that. Like every single one of my friends that does their own thing, like whether they upped 9-to-5 jobs or whether they took their craft and made it a career. Like Fitz is a full-time videographer making great money, literally not working as anything but a videographer.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
To me that's incredible.
Amazing.
Because when I first met him, he was only videos he was editing was Call of Duty clips. And just to see where he went, I mean, that's you can't ask for anything better than that. Like this man is doing what he loves and he's making a good living off of it. And that's a blessing in itself. And then like just like my other bros, like a lot of them, some of them have like real like adult jobs to where like, yeah, they can't do as much of the music stuff sometimes, but hey, like my bro just bought his first house the other day. Like, God bless it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that, you know, that wasn't off of like the music dream money, but that was off of some hard earned, you know, got a job, did his stuff. So like, to me, I don't have to lead the people in my own circle. I surrounded myself with leaders. So that way, when we're in situations, if I'm not there, they can handle it. If I'm there, you know, if I could look to them for advice, they could look to me for advice. We're peers in the sense that they, you know, they believe in me and I believe in them to where like I don't have to be the leader of them. I have to be the leader of those who are following the movement, not the ones who are leading the movement with me.
Yeah. That's great to have. I mean, it's amazing to have a group of people around your circle that, I mean, because it could get exhausting if you had to lead them, you know, every time, every point of the day. But
and don't get me wrong, like there is certain aspects to where like, you know, sometimes I wish they'd excel in more or put more effort into, but then there's things that I probably do that they feel the same way. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, we all have our idea of like what.
That's life.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we can't be perfect in every which way.
No,
you know? Like,
hell no.
I'm sure all of us could do better at something, no matter what it is.
Hey man, you already. Oh, you want another Heineken?
Yeah, why not?
For sure. Here, I'll crack you one.
But yeah, like
this video is not sponsored.
No, but if you guys do want to sponsor us, Heineken will be open to it.
Yeah, and if you ever just want to drink a Heineken with me, let me know.
Yeah.
Dial
them up.
In the comments below.
And then I got a big deal right now, so I can't, can't unclose it.
Okay.
I can only drink certain stuff right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Major deal. Right
Fair
now.
enough. You love to hear it. Until I get a major deal, I'm gonna drink whatever. But if anybody out there's got a major deal,
yeah, I'm here for it.
He's here for it too.
You want want to sponsor? Yeah. We'll wear all your gear, whatever. But going back to leadership, having a group that you can look to trust and to know that they'll make the right call when you're not there. Even I see with your family, because I remember you posted something I think of your little brother. And how much he looks up to you. You know.
Shout out my bro Zoe. He asked me all day up until this point. He said, "Can you just give me a shout out on the thing?" So shout out my bro Zoe. Shout out Lorenzo. Shout out Cece. Shout out Dev. Family type shit.
Yeah, but that's great that you can even be a role model for your family to the point where I'm sure your brother looks up to you.
Sometimes I feel like a bad influence. I got these kids walking around the house trying to rap and shit all the time. Like, it's hilarious. But no, they got, and I think this comes from my mother. They just got great hearts. So, like, I don't ever worry about, where they're going to go in life. Like, I just know that regardless of what they're going to do, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to make the most of it. But, yeah, man, I'm.
I mean, my point of view, I think that you'd be kind of preaching them. Basically, what you do is you're telling them that you had a dream and you're pursuing it full-fledged. Like, not many people could say that. I just tell them
they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And that's that. And whether that be being a doctor, working at a grocery store, playing sports, if you want to do it, you just got to work at it. And that's, like, they want to be pro basketball players so bad. Like, but I try to tell them every day, like, until you realize what it takes to do that, because let's be honest, you guys are undersized. You don't even know where you're gonna go to high school. None of that. You're just, until you start getting bigger, working out, putting the hours in, and they do. They put a lot of work in. I respect the hell out of it. They go out every day in the driveway and they put in work. They shoot 100 They shoot they've been doing this thing where like they'll both shoot 100 free throws back and forth just to see their percentages and stuff. They're up in the 70s right now. I'm saying, like, you getting them 80s, 90s, and it's money, so
put in the work.
Dude, I sit on the balcony and I watch this kid every day
doing it,
he got the basketball inside the.
That's what I'm saying. You know how many kids are doing that every day?
Tennis ball. Like, literally, tomorrow he walks in squares around the apartment complex every day. It's crazy.
It's about self-awareness, too. Like, you have to have some sort of self-awareness when you're pursuing something. Like, I could say I want to sing. I mean, I know I can't sing. Like, I could learn how to sing better, but I can't. Like, I don't have that ability to naturally sing.
All you need is a good engineer in this day and age.
Yeah, you're right. Get that little auto-tune in there. You never know, man. You never know.
Little Waves tune. I don't know if you're hip to the Waves tune, but
I'm not.
It's like auto-tune, but it's like not robotic. It's just like they make it. It's like Melodyne. They make your voice sound like
I've been out of the rap game too long, man.
Waves tune and Melodyne, man. That's the shit that you'll hear like Drake will be on, like, because you don't hear auto-tune in Drake's voice usually ever, right? But obviously they got to smooth that vocal, so
yeah.
Yeah, and trust me, I do it. I use it. I can't sing as well as some of my shit sounds, but I use it.
Yeah, but you still had to have that self-awareness. Like, you can't go you're not gonna go out there and sing a full-fledged R&B song.
No,
like,
not with my natural voice.
You're gonna melodize.
I'm gonna need at least the track over it playing for sure.
Yeah,
but that's when you pursue what you love. Like, you really just gotta you just have to really believe in it, and you might fail at it, but there'll always be an opportunity to still figure out a way into that.
You gotta know your own lane. Yeah, you gotta really drive fast in your own lane. You can't worry about what's going on in any other lane. You can't worry about anybody else's shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you
worry about what you want, how you want to do it. Oh man, I've had moments where
family members even hey, what do you want to be?
I still get it to this day.
Yeah.
When are you gonna go get a real job? when are you gonna get off my nuts? That's what I say.
Right, because especially parents.
I don't know
and
one
older
family member of
members.
mine that did a show with Bone Thugs. That's all I gotta say. Like, I love them all, but hey, that's Bone, man. That's bone.
Hey.
No, none of my uncles, aunts, none of that. I don't care how much money you made. You will never have that experience. And I would not give up that experience for any amount of money. I'm not giving up any of those experiences for any amount of money. People coming up to you after a show, can you sign this? Can you take a picture? I had some grown-ass dude tell me, hey, will you sign my daughter's shirt? She's too nervous to come over here. And I'm like, your daughter didn't know who I was till today. This is so badass. Like, sign it. Boom. I was at the mall. We're filming a music video at the mall, which is crazy in itself because we weren't supposed to be able to do it. But we filmed in Forever 21, and so this girl that we knew, she knew the manager there. They both happened to be there. We originally asked one of the workers there if they could ask the manager if we could shoot a video in there. Manager didn't see me. Girl goes back there, ask. She says no. Girl that I knew there was like, I'll go ask. She goes and asks. Manager's like, oh, it's for Cap? Sure. So I got to shoot a video in there.
That's pretty cool.
And it was dope because it was like, we literally had this place going midday. Like, we're like, if there's people in the background, like, hey, we're shooting a video. If you don't want in it, get the hell out of the way type shit. But in a nicer way, obviously.
Yeah. No.
It's just one of those things that, like, I got to do that. And I'm not giving those experiences up. Like, I'm not, like, I don't care. I mean, sure, like, you want to give me $1 billion, you want to give me multi-millions to pay my family, stuff, this and that. Unselfishly, yes, I would do that. But, like, selfishly, I'm not giving up those experiences for anything. I got to do things that are incredible. I got to take my whole team this is right before quarantine. I got to take the whole team to West Virginia. I got to open up for Jack Harlow. I got to meet Jack Harlow. I got to talk to him, chop his brain a little bit, get to know him. He was a cool ass dude. I got to bring my people and just show out with my people in a different state and get paid for it and just do all this stuff that was just like incredible. Stuff that like, if I didn't do music, I'm not getting to do that.
You never experienced that.
And I'm never experiencing that. And like, okay, like I said, if this doesn't work out, there's a million things I can go do. Yeah. But I get so many, whether it be friends or family or peers or whatever it may be, always saying like, man, like, why don't you like think about like maybe selling cars or something while you do this, or why don't you do this and that? Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, maybe I would have enough time to go do something like that, right? But like, I'm in the prime of my life. I'm not getting any younger. And I've already had amazing opportunities. Why should I believe that if I keep doing what I'm doing with new knowledge coming in of how to do it better, with trial and error of what didn't work to be able to keep doing what did work.
New people,
better connections. Why would I be so crazy to stop doing it? Why would I be so crazy to think that I'm never going to get another good opportunity again? If a year and a half goes by and I don't get a nice ass opportunity, I'm going to have to evaluate that. But these things just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And before quarantine, I was supposed to open for NLE Choppa, Don Tolliver, two friends at Kent's Flash Fest, which was supposed to be crazy. I was supposed to make some good money. Probably was going to make the most money I ever made, like, doing a show. So I was so excited. It was going to be on my birthday. We were going to drop one of our... Oh, that's amazing. We were going to drop this single that we still haven't dropped yet because of quarantine. But we were going to drop the single that day, too. It was going to be just all this shit was supposed to happen. I was supposed to go with my buddy that's a producer to meet Mod Sun the week before that. I had a show with Riff Raff lined up. And just all these opportunities lined up. Quarantine hits.
Damn COVID, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, COVID, don't read. Doesn't read at all.
Basically, though, to wrap it up, is you want to say you were able to try and, you're able to go full force with it. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. That's just like, you only got one life to live, dude. You only got a limited amount of time. You need to just jump in. You need to fucking
Not
whatever you
wrong.
want to do. You want to sell cars, and that's what you want to do. Go full in on selling cars. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
wrong at all.
Just that's what life's about.
Yeah. Each individual step, stage, etc. Before we finish, I don't know how much time we got left, this and that, but I just
wrap
feel
it
like
up.
it's super important to speak on the fact that Black lives matter, and that
Absolutely.
all the shit that's going on in the world right now it's outrageous, it's ridiculous, it's sad to see. I'm sure you have a perspective as a Black man that is like
definitely.
that I could never, ever understand, none of that. And it's just something that you get online and you see people getting hurt for no reason, and then people trying to say that it's justified for what reason. I mean, it makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It's, to me, it makes me angry. It makes me sad. It makes me think like, you got one media over here talking about this is like about what's going on here, and they're shoving it in like the adult's face, and they're shoving it on the TV screens. Then you get on Twitter and it's like the complete opposite. And then you got people that are so angry on both sides that they're not willing to come together, and it's just, to me, it's insane, and it makes me sick, because at the end of the day, like, we are all human beings.
Yeah.
There's no human being that should be valued over another human being, whether it be their race, their sex, their sexual preference,
Yes.
their financial income, none of that. And it makes me like, it makes me cringe, man. Like, it makes me want to,
Absolutely, dude.
it pisses me off, because it's bullshit that, this dude right here could wake up tomorrow and get pulled over, and I could wake up and get pulled over tomorrow, and it's two different outcomes. And I'm not saying that 100%, you're going to get a gun drawn on you or not. But for damn sure, just the way that they're going to look at you, talk to you, treat you, etc., they're going to instantly, and I hate to assume, but I can almost guarantee that they're going to think worse of pulling you over than pulling me over. And that's bullshit. And that don't fucking read.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off, because it's like, even when you try to tell people, even when you try to get that point through to people that shit is wrong, and that, you're not saying Black Lives Matters because you don't think anybody else's lives matters. You're saying that in this instance, I'm telling you that my life matters, and people are trying to tell me that I'm not. And that's I'm gonna get angry.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
crazy.
just sip this. I'm gonna sip this beer, and I'm gonna leave it at, support the ones you love, support the ones that need it, support. Maybe support's not even the right word, but just pray for humanity, pray for the ones around you, and pray for those people that are too fucked up in their head to realize that shit needs to change. If you don't think shit needs to change,
then you got a problem.
Then
You're
the problem. Then you got a serious problem.
Yeah,
You definitely
you're part
got
of the
a problem.
problem.
you're part of it.
So, I'm not usually too political, but in this part of my life and with the world that's going on, I feel like I have, being a white man making money in a Black culture, it'd be wrong of me not to say that. Like, it'd be wrong of me to sit here and act like that's something that I'm not thinking about every day, or seeing on the news, or that's affecting some of my best friends. You know what I mean? So that's
Exactly.
Yeah, had to speak on that.
You want to add anything, Will?
I mean, we all see it. It's not like it's the first year, problems like this are happening, but it's been crazy. Just the whole everything that's just been happening, like, it's literally been crazy, and I don't know, things definitely do have to change. I'm glad people are doing these protests. If you're not protesting and you're praying, however you're going about the situation, at least you need to acknowledge that it is a situation, and it is a problem. So, I just appreciate all the support that everybody's showing. It seems like it's a lot more support this time. and I think that's because the video is just plain as day. Like there is no, oh, what if he did this? No, it's like you watch it and you see that the cops are wrong. So I'm just glad that everybody can see that. Like there's no arguing this.
Yeah, and this is one of the I think in our history is one of the biggest protests worldwide, like nationwide, that we've ever seen. Even other countries are getting irritated
easily,
and people. It needs to change. This many people wouldn't be protesting if there wasn't a reason to protest for. Like, this is a problem. It's always been a problem. It needs to be fixed. And that all lives matter shit's bullshit. There's being what you're saying. God. What you're saying is you don't really care. Like, you know what I'm saying? When someone says all lives matter, what you're doing is you're trying to overrule the fact that people really.
It's like, no shit. We get that everybody's life matters, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Black Lives Matter because Black lives are the ones that we're specifically saying are being affected by stereotypes, police brutality, oppression, all that. And it's hard sometimes as a white guy to talk about it because it's not hard for me to be like I always want to speak on it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you feel like if I say something that could be taken the wrong way, because my intentions are there. My intentions are, I want to change stuff. I believe it's 100%. Like, I'm behind exactly everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm never arguing that. My thing is like, I just don't ever. You don't want to say the wrong thing, man. You don't want to offend the wrong person. You don't want to. And by that, I don't mean like, yeah, like I have an opposite view, but I'm afraid to say it. No, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, I've never been in your shoes because I'm not a black man. So sometimes when you're speaking on it, you're almost like, okay, I hope that's what like is the right thing to say, and they understand where I'm coming from with that. Does that make any sense? Because it's like my thing is like, you want to make the change, you want to be a voice, and you want to step up. And that's all I'm trying to do. And that's all that I know he's trying to do. And that's all I know that any good person would be trying to do. And sometimes it's like you don't want, just because it's like, if it comes out of my mouth as a white man or it comes out of your mouth as a black man, you hope that it gets the same reciprocation. And you hope that nobody ever feels slighted or feels like, you're not doing enough. Because bro, like it's just weird. Like you want to be doing enough at all times, and I believe that, as long as you're speaking out on it, that like I'm almost like, I want to ask you, like, what do you think that we could be doing? What do you think that, people that aren't.
I mean, a lot of people just need to, one, spread awareness, and one, also acknowledge that it is like a privilege bias. Like, it's a lot of people that are in denial that it's even a privilege. They're like, white privilege doesn't exist. And I feel like that's a start. Like, that's the first problem. Like, understanding that it does exist and there is a bias.
Yeah.
When certain people get pulled over, when certain people are walking around for a certain amount of time at a place, when certain people go jogging at night, it's like it's a huge difference.
It's like they're scared of you for no fucking reason, bro.
But yeah, I think everybody needs to acknowledge the bias, the problem, and just spread awareness in any way, like whether that's through you tweeting or you coming to a podcast or however you want to do it.
Yeah, because what can happen is that was like you acknowledge the change, and that could change generations after us, right? Because it does start with parenting. Parenting and systematic institutional racism is also a huge thing. But the first beginning is that parenting. Like, if your parents aren't, like my kid is gonna understand because our kid, like I'll understand.
My kid's gonna have numerous black uncles just because of who. Like, I mean, look. You're going to raise your kids around him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And, like, it's all about the values that you instill in them and the things you teach them and just your actions, like, and I think that's one thing that people need to start working on more is their actions. Like, it's just simple
you could
stuff.
say anything, but it's what follows up.
Yeah, man, you got it.
I mean, the best way. I mean, I hope people take this right way. But best way I can kind of explain it. Look, you don't come to a homeless shelter talking about global warming.
Right.
Like, it's a whole different problem there that's trying to get solved. There's people that came together to solve this specific problem. And that's a whole different problem that, you know, can be worked on a different day or even talked about on a different day.
And if you want to talk about those problems, solve this one first.
Yeah.
We're talking about this one right now. When the whole world's talking about something, don't come in and try to talk about something else. Don't try to change that. Address that and make the change. That's all they're asking for. That's all that needs to happen is the change needs to be made. Not just in the people's minds who are racist, but the people who think that just because they don't have, you know, racist intentions, that there is an oppression.
Yeah.
Like, people that are just so ignorant to it. Like, just go educate yourself. Get
That's
perspective.
the key, dude.
Have a
Education.
conversation with a black man or woman and just have that conversation and just try to understand. At the very least, just be willing to understand. And you could take it however you want to take it, but if you're not willing to at least talk about it or hear about it, if you're somebody that's saying, well, it doesn't matter to me, so I don't want to hear it, you're wrong. You're just as wrong as somebody that's making the issue like that's being bluntly racist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at least if somebody's bluntly racist, I feel like me personally, I could be like, fuck you. Like, I could be like, fuck you, you're being racist. I've tried so fucking hard to tell you exactly how it should be. Like, you're not even gonna, you know what I'm saying? But then there's the people that are like, well, I'm not racist, but fuck that. Anything that comes after the word but is bullshit.
Yeah.
So
that's that's the problem.
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
We could talk all day, man.
We could literally talk about
Yeah.
But wow, that was a really good note to go off of. I hope everyone really takes that into consideration.
Sorry if I, took the podcast in a direction that you might not have wanted it, but I think it needed to go that way.
Yeah, I
think the whole thing about the podcast is just keeping it real, man. And this is a real issue that's going on.
Oh, real quick, how to get the name Stirfry?
We love pop culture. We love music. We love movies. So basically, it's like a stir fry, right?
Right.
It's like we're throwing everything together.
That's dope.
And making just like a really good, concrete meal to feed our content viewers and all that stuff.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's how I came with stir fry. I think it's a clever name too, because it's like
I've been thinking about putting together a little round table talk, like not so much for podcast, but just like maybe like how they do like the
round table is definitely different.
The shop type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like how where it's just more of like storytelling rather than just like maybe a little less current events, a little more like storytelling and less focused on the individual themselves, like craft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just been trying to get people to just come share.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a great idea. Just create more content, network more people to expand the brand. So you want to tell everyone where they can find you at and what you got coming out? Yeah, you can find me
on everything pretty much. YoungCap4264. That's on Twitter, Instagram. YouTube is YoungCap. You can just search that. I got a new single coming out July 1st. It's going to be called Teenage Dreams or 18. We're not 100% sure the name yet, but just know it's going to be the craziest song I've put out yet. It's so much different than anything I've ever done. It's kind of got some like pop, rock, rap, all that kind of thrown into one. And it's just, to me, it's just one of those like anthems that will be played all summer and fall. It's just one of those ones that's just like, it's crazy. And I'm just so excited for it because I've never been so sure of a record that this is going to be like, to me, this is the one, man. Like, no fake. Like, this is the one. But before I go, I just want to say thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for being on the show.
I did my research earlier on and was watching everything you guys do and stuff like that, and just tapping in to make sure that like I was educated on what the podcast was all about, this and that. And I just wanted to say that I think it's dope all the skits and the music and stuff that you do, man. I think that
Appreciate that.
You could make a lot of difference with that type of stuff. Whether however you want to look at it, whether you want to add I don't want to say add because I don't mean like you add nothing like that, but like just like all the different ways you could go with that, I think is so cool because there's so much like what's the word where you there's so much flexibility with that. Like you could do literally whatever you want, and I think it's so dope. So I definitely want to tip my hat to you for that. And with you, I want to say like the video stuff and just like the way the content that you keep pushing and like just even just your Instagram page, like it's just dope. Like both you guys have dope Instagram pages. You guys just are two creative people that I see like doing this shit for the right reason. So I definitely tip my hat to that. And then
appreciate it.
Also like
Appreciate that, man.
the stuff that you did with like Kev and Nick and all them. Dude, that shit's dope, man. Like for real, like the creativity behind it and the way you were able to just like kind of, it's from my perspective, it kind of seems like you took a lot of their vision and just made it come to life. And I think that that's definitely, which I could be wrong. I don't know your whole involvement on that, but it seems like, you knew what you were doing in that aspect. So I definitely tip my hat to that because I'm all here for more content creation in the city, man. So
and creativity, collaboration, and even that's why we started this podcast, dude, just to network with people, to like grow, and to collaborate, and just have a good time. And
sure, this conversation goes on probably another hour after the camera shuts off, but
yeah, no, I mean it's been great having you on. I really appreciate it,
man.
One last cheers.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, well,
need that sponsor.
Yep.
We don't need a cheers. We just throw one of these in that bitch. You already know.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening and watching. It's your boy Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
Young Cap. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yep. Yes, sir. So keep it real. We'll see you next week.
For sure.
Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell. So check him out on all streaming services at Steve Music, spelled ST3V30 Music. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And see you next Tuesday when we talk with Alan Carter. He's one of my good friends and a rapper from Cleveland. We talk about the art of hustle. You have to keep pushing even when it feels like you're going nowhere. It was one of my favorite conversations, so you won't want to miss it. See you next week, y'all.